Everyone. Hi people, this is Alpha Somani and today we are starting with chapter number 3, The Princess Behind the Wheel. We're talking about the life of a princess. So, who do you think is a princess? A princess is the king's daughter. So, as the king has so many riches, the king has so many palaces, the king has so many expensive gifts. Similarly, the princess is also accessible to the palace, the crown, everything very expensive she has. So, what do you think about the life of a princess? That she lives in a palace, right? She's a princess, so she must be living in a great, beautiful, very pretty palace. She must have very expensive gifts, clothing, very expensive jewelry she might be having. She must be having a very beautiful palace, very beautiful surroundings. She must be having so many friends in the palace. So, all in all, the life of a princess is restricted to a palace, restricted to where the king lives. So, if we assume there is a positive part of being a princess and there is a negative part also of being a princess. The positive part is that you get to live in the palace, that you have so many expensive gifts, that you have so many beautiful surroundings. These are all the positive parts of being a princess. But can you think of any negative aspects of being a princess? Can you think of anything which is not okay according of being a princess? So the negative thing is the princess cannot live like us. The princess cannot live like common people. The princess cannot live a life of a common people. By life of a common people, I mean to say that have you seen any princess playing gilli danda on the street? No, right? Have you seen any princess eating ice cream on the streets? No. Have you seen a princess traveling in an auto? Have you seen a princess playing cricket in a ground, cricket in the park? No, right? So, although the princess has so many expensive gifts, she has so much beautiful palace, she lives in the palace, but still she misses the aspects of being a common person. She misses how a common person lives, how the common surroundings are. Streets कैसे होते हैं, बाहर का बाजार कैसा होता है, बाहर की दुनिया कैसी होती है, जहाँ पे कॉमन पीपल हम जैसे कॉमन लोग रहते हैं, वो कैसी होती है, वो प्रिंसेस नहीं जानती उसके बारे में। प्रिंसेस को वो सारे एस्पेक्ट्स नहीं पता होते और वो ये सब चीजें मिस करती है। क्यों? क्योंकि वो हमेशा से पैलेसेस के अंदर रही है, हमेशा से महलों में रही है, हमेशा से उसने महलों की लाइफ निकाली है। सो शी मिसेस हाउ अ कॉमन मैन लिव्स, सो शी मिसेस हाउ what are the various beautiful aspects of common people. So similarly, in this chapter, we have a princess Janahara. What's the princess name? Her name is Janahara. And what does she want to do? As she has always lived in the palace, she wants to take a walk around the city. Okay, we have a princess, Princess Janahara, and she has always lived in the palace. She has not seen the world outside the palace. So she wants to visit the world outside the palace. She wants to go on the streets of the city. So what does she do then? She decided to visit the city with Makbul. Makbul is the gardener of the palace. So we have two characters here. One is Princess Janahara and second is the gardener Makbul. Gardener is the person who takes care of the garden, person who takes care of the plants. So Princess Janahara decides to take a walk around the city, decides to visit the streets of the city with the gardener Makbul. And when she visits the streets, when she visits the bustling streets, जहाँ पे बहुत चहल पहल हो रही होती है, she enjoys the life. She enjoys that life. In palace, she has a very peaceful life, very calm life. There are so many servants for him, but princess wants to visit the life outside the palace. That how other people live. She wants to see what the life there is besides the palace, महल के बाहर कौन सी दुनिया है, कैसी दुनिया है, वो ये जानना चाहती है. Okay, so let's see and let's begin with the chapter. This is a story about a princess, Princess Janahara, who disguised herself as a maid and went to walk around the city with Makbul. Princess Janahara decides to go to the streets with the gardener Makbul. Makbul was a gardener in the royal gardens of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. So, as I told you, who's the one character? The first character is Makbul. Makbul is a gardener, and whose gardener he is? He is the gardener in the royal gardens of मुगल एम्परर शाहजहां. शाहजहां के जो पैलेस है उसके अंदर ये गार्डनर है मकबूल. No one could create unique varieties of roses like he could. What was Maqbul famous for? He used to create so many varieties of roses. He used to grow so many varieties of roses. Very beautiful roses he used to grow in the royal courts of Shah Jahan. He gave his roses beautiful poetic names. And what was another special thing about him? He used to give these roses some very special names. And said Maqbul, this one reminds me of dawn sky. I call it dawn. For example, how he used to name the roses? That इस रोज को देख के मुझे एकदम सुबह सुबह की याद आ रही है, तो इसका नाम मैंने रख दिया भोर. भोर मीन्स सुबह, राइट? एकदम सुबह सुबह. बहुत सुबह कितनी होती है, सुंदर होती है ना. मॉर्निंग्स आर ब्यूटीफुल, डॉन्स आर ब्यूटीफुल. डॉन मतलब वो टाइम जब सूरज बिल्कुल उगा ही होता है और रात एकदम खत्म हुई भी होती है. सुबह के जो 4 बजे वाला टाइम होता है, that is called dawn. Okay, so Maqbul names his roses in a very special manner. Carefully, Maqbul selected a cane basket and lined it with green leaves. And what was Maqbul used to do? He used to get a basket. He used to get a cane basket, and he used to line it with green leaves. He used to put green leaves in that. He cut one of the roses and laid it gently in the basket. He used to cut a very special, very beautiful rose from his garden, and he used to put that rose into his basket. Then, walking through the Agra fort, he reached the curtained door of the royal court. And then what he used to do? He reached the royal court. Royal court means the palace. He used to reach to the palace with the rose in his basket, with a very beautiful rose in his basket. Who was Maqbul? Maqbul was the gardener in the royal gardens of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. What no one could create like him? What was his speciality? His speciality was that he could create very beautiful roses, that he could grow very beautiful and very special roses. Why does he call a rose dawn? Do you remember why did he call a rose dawn? Because there was once there was a very beautiful rose and it reminded him of dawn. वो उसे एकदम सुबह के जैसा खूबसूरत लगा. That's why he named the rose dawn. Where did he carry the cane basket with the rose? Where did he carry the cane basket? He took the basket to the royal court. He took the basket to the palace. He took the basket to the curtain door of the royal court. So when he reaches the royal court, what does he say there? A new rose for the princess Huzur. So there's a curtained door. There's a door. Door के ऊपर there's a curtain, एक पर्दा है, and he's standing beside the door. Maqbul is standing outside the door, and there he says, a new rose for the princess. A new rose for the princess Huzur. वो क्या बोलता है कि princess के लिए एक नया rose लाया हूँ. Hearing his voice, one of the courtesans come out, and when someone hears his voice, one of the courtesans come out. Courtesans means the female servants who work in the court, the female servants who work in the royal palace. So one courtesan, she come out and she said with a smile, "Oh, Maqbul Mia, a rose for the Princess Janahara." And when a female servant, she comes out of the curtain door, what does she say? Oh, Makbul Mia, you have got a rose for the princess. Makbul, आप रोज लेके आए हैं princess के लिए. Makbul nodded. Nodded means Makbul said yes. Nodded means to say yes. जब हम हाँ बोलते हैं तब हम कैसे बोलते हैं? ऐसे ना? So Makbul said nodded. Makbul said yes. And what have you named it? The princess always asks. She said further. And what does she ask further? Firstly, she asks, "Oh, you have brought a rose for the princess." And secondly, what does she ask? That what is the name of this rose? Because there's a speciality of Makbul, right? He names his roses with very special names. So the courtesan asks, "What is the name of this rose? What have you named?" Because whenever I give the rose to the princess always asks that what is the name of this rose? Dawn, said Makbul. So Makbul says what? That this rose is named as Dawn. इस rose को मैंने क्या नाम दिया है? Dawn. In a while, the maid came out again, and this time she was carrying a piece of silk. And then the maid, the courtesan, she takes the rose from Makbul. She goes inside, and when she comes outside, she is carrying a piece of silk. Okay, so this piece of silk was a reward, was a award to whom? To Makbul for bringing such a beautiful rose. As Makbul brought a very beautiful rose to the princess. So, in return, as a reward, the princess gave him what? He gave him a piece of silk. The princess was very pleased and she sent some silk for a jacket for you. So, the maid is saying, the courtesan is saying, the princess was very pleased. The princess आपसे बहुत खुश हुई. The princess was very happy and she has sent some silk for a jacket for you. और उन्होंने आपको ये silk दिया है gift के अंदर as a prize, as an award. She has given you a piece of silk इससे jacket बनवाने के लिए. Who came to hear the voice of Makbul? When Makbul was there at the curtained door, who came out? A courtesan came out. A maid came out. Whom did he bring the rose for? Whom did Makbul bring the rose for? Makbul brought the rose for Princess Janahara. He always used to do that, and today also Makbul brought the rose for Princess Janahara. What does the maid carry with her? What does the maid carry with her? Once the maid took the rose inside to the princess, and the princess sent a piece of silk to Makbul. Why was the princess pleased with Makbul? As the rose was very beautiful and it was named as Dawn, so that's why princess was pleased with Makbul because he has brought a very beautiful rose named as Dawn for the princess. Walking back to his flower beds, Makbul smiled as he stroked the lustrous cloth. Lustrous means very shining piece of cloth. Okay. So when Makbul gave the rose to the Princess Janahara, he got a piece of cloth as an award, as a reward. So he took back, walking back to his flower beds, Makbul smiled as he stroked the lustrous cloth. So when stroke means उसको ऐसे सहलाना, जैसे आप when you stroke your hair, so that means like sehlana. So Makbul was stroking the silk, the lustrous silk, the shiny silk he was stroking. So he was very happy because he got an award. You're also happy, right? When you get an award. So Makbul was smiling. Janahara never forgot to reward him for a new rose. So whenever he used to get a new rose, a new beautiful rose to Princess Janahara, he always used to give him a reward. I wonder what the princess looks like. Then Makbul was Makbul suddenly started thinking, I wonder what the princess looks like. मैं सोचता हूँ princess कैसी दिखती होंगी. How Princess Janahara would be looking like. Makbul mused. Makbul just thought, if I could see her once, I would name a rose after her. So if I could see princess for once, even if I could see princess for a while, I would name a rose after her. So you remember, right? He used to name his roses in a very special way. For example, he named a rose as Dawn. So then Maqbool was thinking that once if I see Princess Janahara, I will name a rose after Janahara. So I will name the rose as Janahara once if I see the princess. Often he would string a garland of roses or jasmines and take to the shrine of Saint Sheikh Salim Chishti at Fatehpur Sikri. So often, what was the routine of uh, Maqbool? Often he would string a garland of roses or jasmines. वो roses या jasmine का एक माला बनाता था, and he would take it to the shrine of Saint Sheikh Salim Chishti at Fatehpur Sikri, and he used to take those roses, those jasmine to the shrine of इनकी दरगाह पे लेके जाता था. शेख सलीम चिश्ती की दरगाह थी फतेहपुर सीकरी में, वहां पे वो लेके जाता था. As he laid the flowers and said his prayers, his mind would fill with peace. And why did he always used to go to this dargah? Why did he always used to go to this shrine? Because when he laid flowers there, his mind would fill with peace. उसको बहुत शांति मिलती थी. So that's why he always used to do that. Why did Maqbool smile while walking back to his flower beds? Why was Maqbool smiling? Why was Maqbool happy when he was walking back? Because he got a piece of silk as an award from Princess Janahara. That's why he was smiling. Who never forgot to reward him for a new rose? Who is to give him a reward? Always Princess Janahara used to give him a reward. What did he wonder about? What was he wondering? That once, if I see Princess Janahara in real life, I would name a rose after her. What would he carry to the shrine of Sheikh Salim Chishti? What would he carry? He would carry a garland of roses or of jasmines. वहाँ एक jasmines मतलब चमेली और रोज या फिर roses की माला लेके जाता था. Okay, people. So we will be doing this part of the chapter in the next one. And this is your assignment. You have to complete these 3 questions in assignment number 2. And today there's a surprise for you all. I highly appreciate the students who have completed, who have submitted their assignments of the chapter number 7. This is really I'm very proud of those students who have completed their assignments of chapter number 7, Adventures Too Much. So the students are Vibin Biju from section A, Abhishek Soni, section A, Anshul Maheshwari, section A, Niharika Chaube, section A, Akshay Suwalka, section A, Archit Sharma, section A, Aditya Sharma, section B, Angel Munra, section B, Hemendra Singh Ranawat, section C. So all these students have completed their assignments, have submitted their assignments on Scholars ERP. They have also worked hard. So I request all other students as well to work hard and to complete and submit their assignments on Scholars ERP. For today, you have to complete assignment number 2. So that's all for today's class. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lecture.